Guys, do you know that the countdown to the 2026 FIFA World Cup should be filled with, excitement, celebration, and even global unity? Instead, the tournament is already facing growing backlash from fans around the world. Across Europe, Africa, Asia, and even South America, thousands of supporters are now reconsidering whether attending matches in the United States is even worth it. A massive petition in Netherlands is demanding their national team avoid, playing in America altogether, while many fans are, canceling tickets because of fears surrounding immigration enforcement, discrimination, safety, and even rising costs. What was supposed to be football's biggest global celebration is now becoming one of the most controversial World Cups in recent history.
More World Cup problems from Europe. This time it is the Netherlands who are saying we do not want to go at all. Check it out. A broadcaster in the Netherlands released a nationwide petition, and it has garnered over 155,000 signatures from Dutch all across the country, saying that they want their government to ban their national team from going to the World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Primarily, they are requesting that the government ban their team from traveling to the United States. They are okay if the tournament were to be refocused and played only in Mexico and Canada. The big difference between this boycott movement and all the other ones that we're hearing about is that this isn't coming from politicians. This isn't coming from any sort of football federation. This is coming from the people themselves.
Well, the World Cup is in trouble. Nobody wants to come here. Ticket sales are down. They've actually had to lower the price of the tickets because they can't give them away at this point. They thought they were going to get thousands and thousands of dollars for tickets, and they may not even be able to get $100. We personally, my family, we have heard from our friends that are either in Europe or the UK, and there's no way that they would come to the United States right now. They can see just how dangerous it is, and they're not willing to bring their children to this country. And I don't blame them. They can see for themselves what's going on. They've actually watched the videos. They can see the protests. They can see what ICE agents are doing to people. And they're not in the cult. So they don't believe this spin that comes out of the White House and Kristi Noem. I mean, it's very clear to them that they are blatantly lying about what's in these videos and what ICE is actually doing, and that they are just grabbing people off the street and asking questions later. So I knew the World Cup wasn't going to be a good idea to have in the United States, and there you have it.
The FIFA World Cup is not going well. Now it's supposed to start June 11th and go to July 19th. And it is being jointly held in Canada, the US, and Mexico. But hotels in the host cities are saying that they are not seeing a bunch of bookings at all for this thing. They are literally calling it a non-event and saying that their bookings are the same, if not a little lower than usual for this time of year. Now, FIFA is saying that they have sold 5 million tickets in either general admission or the hospitality packages that they have. But the hotel bookings are not necessarily bearing that out. And people who are getting tickets are like really pissed because these tickets are expensive, like expensive, which is really pissing people off. FIFA is using dynamic and variable pricing for the first time. So of course they can squeeze more and more out of people. The cost that people pay depends on the matchup that they're going to be watching, the seat category, and even the tournament stage. Some people can get tickets for as low as $60, but these tickets are extremely limited.
Yeah, we got some snow. I thought I'd show you guys. Trump is ruining not just the war, the country, the economy, this, that, and the other. Also, the World Cup. Okay, this is supposed to bring in like 650, 700,000 people. This is soccer. They do it once every 4 years. Really big deal. The hotels, if you can see this article here, aren't even noticing any, like 0% increase in bookings because nobody wants to come here because of all the immigration enforcement, all the demonizing of people who visit from other countries, all the white nationalists posting on Twitter and social media that, America's for Americans, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can have that then. That's fine. That's fine. It is a scientific fact that immigrants are incredibly, not only are they helpful for a country, they're actually essential demographically and economically for a country to keep growing. And on top of that, like tourism is a big part of our economy and why people want to come here. It is a way, it's actually even more than that. It's a like diplomatic sales pitch. It lets the world know that, we're supposed to be the beacon of freedom and how we live life here. Everything about this is so completely screwed up. And the fact that he made the World Cup have zero increase in hotel bookings, like this is going to be a historic flop.
Trump promised the World Cup would be a $30 billion economic boom for America. 1 month out, hotels and host cities are canceling rooms at 95%. And now, the White House is quietly reversing its own rules. That's not a strategy. That's a panic. Last year, the Trump administration rolled out a policy requiring fans from 50 countries to post bonds of up to $20,000 just to enter the United States. The reason? To cut down on visa overstays. But here's the problem. The FIFA World Cup kicks off in less than a month. And suddenly, those same bonds are being quietly waived for ticket holders. Not because of a change of heart, because the math stopped working. Here's what the numbers actually look like right now. The American Hotel and Lodging Association surveyed hotel owners in host cities. 65 to 70% say visa policies and geopolitical tension are killing international demand. Nearly 80% say bookings are tracking well below original forecasts. And it gets worse. Some cities are reporting cancellations as high as 95% after FIFA had to release hotel room blocks it had reserved. Even the New York Post, yes, Rupert Murdoch's paper is running the headline that foreign soccer fans are skipping the U.S., threatening that $30 billion payday. The Congress also has a chart the administration projected a 6% rise in international tourism. The actual line on that chart, going negative? And it's not just the visa bonds. More than 120 civil society organizations, including the ACLU, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the NAACP, have issued formal travel advisories warning fans, players, and journalists about ICE abuses, free speech crackdowns, and the risk of deportation. Amnesty USA didn't sugarcoat it. They called it a draconian immigration and anti-human rights agenda. FIFA has $14 billion in projected revenue riding on this tournament. And the National Guard is being deployed in host cities like LA and Chicago. Think about that, the world's most watched sporting event with soldiers in the streets. That is the welcome mat Trump is rolling out for the planet. So let me get this straight. Trump spent a year building walls around the World Cup, visa bonds, immigration crackdowns, travel warnings, and now, with 30 days on the clock, he's tearing them down because the economic disaster became impossible to spin. You can't insult the world, then invite the world, then charge the world $20,000 to show up and call that hosting. Drop a comment. Do you think the World Cup in the U.S. is going to be a success or a disaster?
Now, the biggest reason behind this boycott movement is not football itself. It is fear. Many international fans believe the current immigration climate in the United States feels hostile toward foreign visitors. Videos circulating online showing aggressive ICE operations, protests, and even racial tensions have created anxiety among travelers, especially families. Some supporters fear being unfairly targeted because of their skin color or even nationality. Others are, frustrated by expensive hotels, rising travel costs, and even difficult visa process that make attending, nearly impossible for ordinary fans. For many people, the World Cup no longer feels like a global festival. Instead, feels like an event designed only for wealthy travelers who can afford the risks and even the costs. The most powerful part of this entire story is that the backlash is not being led by politicians or even football organizations. It is coming directly from ordinary people. Fans themselves are speaking out, canceling trips, signing petitions, and openly saying they no longer feel comfortable attending matches in the United States. In Netherlands, more than 150,000 citizens have already signed a petition asking their government to stop the Dutch national team from traveling to the United States during the tournament. What makes this even more interesting is that many of these fans are not against the World Cup itself. They are simply asking for matches to, be focused in Canada and even Mexico instead. That alone tells you where the concern is centered. The core issue here is the growing fear surrounding immigration enforcement and the treatment of international visitors. Many supporters believe the atmosphere in the United States has become increasingly hostile toward foreigners. Online videos showing ICE activity and aggressive enforcement operations have spread rapidly across social media, creating fear among potential visitors. Families from Europe and even the United Kingdom are openly saying they no longer feel safe bringing their children to America for the tournament. Fans from Africa, Asia, and even South America are also expressing deep frustration, especially because of strict visa requirements and long processing delays. Even though March tickets can help travelers get faster visa appointments, there is still no guarantee of entry into the country. Every visitor must still go through the full vetting process. Officials are, already warning people to apply months in advance because, interview appointments alone can take 6 to 8 weeks. For many fans, that uncertainty is simply too stressful. And then there's the financial side of the story. The cost of attending this World Cup is becoming another major reason why people are staying away. Flights are expensive. Match tickets remain costly despite reports of falling demand. Hotels in major cities are still charging unbelievable prices. In New Jersey, where the final is expected to take place, some hotels near the stadium are reportedly charging more than $1,600 for a single night. That is simply unaffordable for, most football fans around the world. Some travelers are now being encouraged to use hotel loyalty points or even travel rewards to reduce expenses, but that still does not solve the bigger problem. The average supporter should not need luxury travel strategies just to attend a football match. The growing frustration has already started, affecting ticket sales. Reports claim that more than 16,000 fans have cancelled their tickets, forcing organizers into emergency discussions about demand. Some analysts are now predicting that FIFA may eventually lower prices, even further just to avoid empty seats during games. Think about that for a moment. This is supposed to, be the biggest sporting event on the planet. Yet conversations are, already shifting toward possible empty stadiums, weak tourism numbers, and even poor international turnout. Hotels reportedly expected hundreds of thousands of visitors, but some areas are still, seeing almost no increase in bookings. That has sparked fears that the tournament could seriously underperform compared to expectations. At its heart, this situation is about more than, just football. People attend the World Cup because it represents unity. It's one of the, few events where fans from every culture, language, and even background come together to celebrate the same passion. But when supporters begin feeling unsafe, unwelcomed, financially excluded, or even politically uncomfortable, that spirit starts to disappear. The 2026 World Cup still has time to, change this narrative. Organizers, governments, and even tourism officials still have an opportunity to rebuild confidence among international fans. But right now, many people across the world are sending a very clear message. Football should bring people together, not make them feel afraid to travel. Guys, what do you think? Drop your thoughts on the comments. Let me know. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, bye-bye.